I believe I'm live. Didn't notify me, but I believe I'm live, right? Thanks to those that are joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. I'm D-Style Boxing. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you leave a comment. Let's go ahead and talk about this fight. I want to, first of all, before we even start here, give a shout out to Ashi DeLoya, who's watching Batman Begins, which is why I decided to wear the shirt, right? He's watching Batman Begins while all of us are watching boxing on Showtime, right? The fighter they're suing is fighting on Showtime, but Russel Jr. is watching HBO. He's watching Batman Begins. Interesting, right? First of all, I have yet to watch the Kell Brook fight with Jojo Dan, so I can't talk about the fight per se, but I'm subscribed to YouTube, boxing channels, and from what I've heard, and it's pretty unanimous, that Kell Brook dominated the fight, knocked Jojo Dan out, and it's a wrap for Jojo Dan, right? Dominated the fight. And the consensus is that Kell Brook did a good job, and, people were expecting a little more out of Jojo Dan. Didn't quite happen. So you can almost say he exceeded expectations, Kell Brook. And they called out Amir Khan. C-O-N, Amir Khan. Amir Khan artist. All right? We'll see about that fight. We will see about that fight because, I don't know, it's going to be interesting, that fight. It's going to be interesting. But let's go ahead and talk about the fight here. Gary Russel Jr. versus Jhonny Gonzalez. Jhonny Gonzalez was coming off, about 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, when he knocked out Abner Mares, the then undefeated Abner Mares, right? Who many were touting as, he was just coming to featherweight. He was going to take over the division or whatever. Left hook. Pow! Knocked him out, Jhonny Gonzalez. And, of course, he had some title defenses on the way to this fight. I actually saw Jhonny Gonzalez live here in El Paso. Metagua, I think he was fighting. He looked pretty impressive. Against guys that come at you, against pressure fighters, Jhonny Gonzalez handles those guys, right? This time, he was not fighting a pressure fighter. Gary Russel Jr. obviously was coming off his loss to Lomachenko, in which he states dehydration was a big reason for that loss, according to Gary Russell. Okay, that's according to Gary Russell. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, but I will say that I felt Gary Russell was going to win the fight. I thought he would win a decision. And I felt he would win about 8 out of the 12 rounds, but I didn't think he was going to win like that. I didn't think, they say they did, but I don't know if they really thought they were going to do that to Jhonny Gonzalez. But who am I to say he didn't think when he did it, right? I didn't see many people picking Gary Russell to win by knockout. I don't know about you, I didn't see it. Okay? Jhonny Gonzalez actually came out to the ring with Rey Mysterio Jr., for those that are wrestling fans, and Conan, all right? Those that remember the Filthy Animals, all right, on WCW, right? And for those, obviously, you know who Rey Mysterio Jr. is. By the way, Jhonny Gonzalez is a featherweight. I'm not sure how tall Jhonny Gonzalez is, to be honest. Like 5'7", I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. To be honest, I should probably know that, right? But I think WWE said Rey Mysterio's like 5'6". There's no way he's 5'6", okay? There's just no way he's 5'. He's probably like 5'2", right? Okay, there's no way. Like, Jhonny Gonzalez towered over him. Like, seriously. I don't believe some of these heights sometimes. I'm telling you right now. And we know Jhonny Gonzalez wasn't wearing high heels, right? With that said, they were both coming with a chip on their shoulder, apparently, right? Obviously, Gary Russell Jr. had to redeem himself. We know what was said about him. And in fairness, the criticisms were real, guys. These were real criticisms. He hadn't fought a guy with a pulse, and when he finally did in Lomachenko, he lost. if we're being honest. With that said, Lomachenko's arguably a top 2, probably the best fighter in the division, right? So Gary Russell Jr. now will be top 3, but let's talk about the fight. Round 1, I don't think anybody was shocked with round 1, right? I mean, I think we all expected that. We expected the speed difference to play a factor, right? Like, I expected that, okay, to be honest with you. All right? I expected the speed to be a factor because Jhonny Gonzalez, I'm not going to say he's like blazing fast, but I'm not going to say slow either, right? He's pretty average, which is pretty fast, right? But compared to Gary Russell, he looked like in slow motion. It's kind of the effect Gary Russell has on guys. It's that halo effect, right? I mean, the dude's so fast, right? I mean, it makes the dude look slow. And it didn't help matters that Jhonny Gonzalez was looking for one big shot. Round 1 wasn't a big deal because I understand the whole feeling out process, right? I really do. I mean, they were both trying to warm up, but I felt like Gary Russell was taking over the fight. I mean, he was the ring general from the start of the fight till he ended the fight in round 4, right? He dictated when they were going to get close, when they were going to be far, when he was going to back up, when he was going to circle the ring, when he was going to come in and throw combinations, when he was going to back up. He dictated all that. Jhonny Gonzalez was just following him around the ring, right? I can't really say anything that Jhonny Gonzalez did wrong. I mean, I think his stance was good. His hands were up. And, all I could really say is that he was looking for a big shot. But he is a boxer puncher. He is the guy that's looking for his big shot, right? But Jhonny Gonzalez, you took away his big shot, which is left hook, it's a wrap. And then that's exactly what Gary Russell Jr. did in this fight. Gary Russell Jr. took away Jhonny Gonzalez's jab, all right, or his hook, I'm sorry. He took it away, and Jhonny Gonzalez did not really know what to do, okay? That's really what it came down to. And he kept relying it, and just trying to find something. And when you fight a boxer who is going to move on you, utilize speed on you, a jab on you, right? When you fight a boxer like that, you don't want to find yourself following him and just looking for one big shot, right? It's not going to come. It's not going to come. You have to set it up, and you're going to have to catch him coming in. I felt Jhonny Gonzalez had to establish a jab. Now, I can't say whether he tried or not because Gary Russell Jr. did that very well. Gary Russell, I think this fight was more about what Gary Russell did than what Jhonny Gonzalez didn't do. Stylistically, from the get-go, Gary Russell Jr. had Jhonny Gonzalez's number. In fact, he put him on speed dial. Speed dial. Press 1, and he called him, right? It was a wrap for his ass, right? Now, that said, after round 2, I felt, well, this is going to be a long night for Jhonny Gonzalez, right? That's what I was telling myself. And then he hurt him, right? A straight left hurt Gonzalez, and very good follow-through by Gary Russell, right? Showing that aggressive instinct or, killer instinct and going for the finish. Landed a beautiful, keep in mind, they were showing highlight reels of the same left hook that Jhonny Gonzalez landed on Mars, which was a great punch. But they showed it they showed that shit for 20 straight minutes, right? The left hook of Jhonny Gonzalez. The left hook of Jhonny Gonzalez. The left hook, man. The left hook, the left hook, the left hook. Well, it was actually the right hook of the southpaw Gary Russell Jr. that ended this fight. Jhonny Gonzalez fell to the mat. He even threw his mouthpiece out, okay, to buy some time. It didn't matter because he still got the minute to rest. It didn't matter. He wasn't out on his feet, but his feet were not all there, man. His feet were still like noodles at the start of that 4th round. And good job by Gary Russell Jr. in finishing this fight. He finished it, right? Great job, right? I mean, that's what I'm talking about, right? Jhonny Gonzalez, it's a wrap, right? Now, with that said, Showtime went a little overboard, acting like he's the new kingpin of the division. And I don't know about that. We got the Axeman out there. We got a guy who has a win over him, Lomachenko, right? We got Santa Cruz out there. We still got a lot of fighters out there. This is a division where these guys have to fight each other. That's the division we're in right now. They have to fight each other. So I'm going to look forward. I think the featherweight division is exciting right now. And I also throw Jhonny Gonzalez in the mix, to be honest with you. This was just a bad stylistic matchup for him, obviously. Okay? And that's it. It's a wrap. All right? It's a wrap for his ass. With that said, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, share the video. This is D-Style Boxing. Keep it, boxing.